We got to shorten that bio. It's a little long. Well, good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Excellent. Well, thank you for coming out. It's an honor to be here with all of you. And being at this event is really one of the highlights of the year for me. And it's great to see so many familiar faces in the crowd today. I do want to start off by thanking the Royal Venetian for having us. What a great venue, great food, great staff. It's always wonderful to be here, so thank you very much. And of course, I want to thank the Aurora Chamber for hosting us. Sandra, you and your entire team do so much important work for our businesses. Thank you for your commitment to our community. I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Enbridge, Platinum sponsor, Telmax, and Gold sponsors, Electra, Magna, TD, the Auroran, and Foundation BTS. And a big welcome to representatives from the federal government. Tony, Leah, thank you very much for being here today. It means a lot to have you here. And of course, I want to welcome all of you, our business and community leaders. You know, we have so many talented and hardworking people in this room doing exceptional things. Aurora is stronger because of all of you. So thank you for supporting thousands of good local jobs, for being leaders in our community, for innovating, and for many of you, having the courage to open up your own businesses. I really am so impressed and in awe of all the things that each of you do. Now, I think we know that a strong local economy like ours is a huge piece to creating a strong community. People want to live in places where they have everything at their fingertips and where they can find a good job to support themselves and their families. And all of you are a big part of why our town is strong. We've welcomed more than 300 new businesses and added more than 3,000 jobs since 2019. Our population is now over 65,000, and we're expected to reach more than 85,000 by 2051. We have top-notch public and private schools, and that includes St. Anne's School, which I was thrilled to officially open last year. We are served by an incredible hospital in South Lake, which so many of us support in so many ways. Like the Here is Where Cancer Meets Its Match campaign. Now, if you have not heard of the campaign, I would please ask that you take a moment and help our local hospital reach its cancer campaign goal and so they can continue their phenomenal efforts in helping our community. It's not just my hospital, it's our community's hospital. And finally, of course, we are blessed with a community of people who are involved and engaged and who have helped build Aurora into a town with a strong identity. Not just the suburb of Toronto, but a distinct community with distinct character. And we have a strong vision of how we want to grow and leave this place for our children and our grandchildren. I also want to acknowledge and thank my council colleagues who are here today, as well as town staff, for supporting this vision. Everyone from our most junior team members all the way to our senior leadership, thank you for caring so deeply about the work that you do for our community. State of the town of Aurora? Strong. But at the same time, everyone in this room is facing challenges. Everyone in this room is being affected by the rapidly rising costs that we've seen over the last few years. We're facing a generational housing crisis. The economy overall has been extremely unstable, and I know many of you are still feeling the lingering impacts of COVID, dealing with record inflationary pressures and interest rates, while also having to pay back CEBA loans. We're facing an existential threat in the climate crisis and continuing to see massive changes to the way that we work. So not everything is rosy, and there's lots of uncertainty. But my hope is that over the next half hour or so, I'm able to make you feel more comfortable about how the town of Aurora is supporting residents and businesses as we confront these challenges together. How we're working hard to keep life in Aurora more affordable. How we're building a vibrant community that people want to be a part of. And how we're supporting you in new ways to help you stay competitive. And how we're working to ensure that anyone who wants to live in Aurora can, which will strengthen both our community and our economy. Now, one really important way that we're working to address affordability is keeping taxes moderate. Now, I know that taxes aren't the sexiest topic, but I'm proud that we've been able to keep this year's increase relatively low, one of the lowest in the GTHA, with a 2.8% increase for operating and an additional 1% for capital projects. And this is going to allow us to maintain our service levels and make strategic investments in large capital projects to enhance our community. Keeping tax increases moderate and consistent year over year keeps money in everyone's pockets to save, pay for their mortgages, and support local businesses with no surprises. And the reality is that while we are considered a relatively affluent community, there are still a lot of people here struggling to make ends meet, families and individuals going paycheck to paycheck. Now, this most recent budget was the first time that as mayor, I was presenting the budget to council. It's part of the new responsibilities given to mayors in dozens of municipalities across Ontario. As part of the budget process, I ensured funding of our nationally recognized Sports Hall of Fame. Included funding for new programs like our windrow removal pilot program that clears the snow at the end of the driveways for our seniors and for those with disabilities. And removed untimely expenditures, such as a 42.6% immediate increase in council compensation. The budget, as adopted, advances many key priorities valued by residents, businesses, including the rehabilitation and maintenance of roads, sidewalks, and the fortification of our world-class recreation programs, parks, natural spaces, as well as the enhancement of arts and culture offerings. It also underscores our commitment to reinvesting in our community, serving not only present needs, but positions our community favorably for the future. Now, I really do believe our community members get a high value for their tax dollars. And those tax dollars not only support us, but also our amazing partner organizations like the Aurora Public Library, the Senior Center, the Cultural Center, Central York Fire Services, and the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Now, rest assured that I will continue to utilize every tool available to me through legislation to ensure that our taxes continue to get the best value for their hard-earned money. When we talk about the programs and services that the town offers, people often think about our recreation and cultural events. Now, I don't hesitate to say that they're world-class. Wonderful, affordable activities that people can do right here in our community. Now, I was just talking to a few folks the other day about our town's preschool program, and they were going on about how amazing it is, how affordable and important it is to them, where they meet other families, make new friendships, the type of thing that builds community and brings people together. Now, our recreation team runs incredible swimming programs, sports programs for children, youth, and adults, and great summer camps. Last year, we expanded our pickleball both indoors and outdoors to respond to a growing demand in our community. This year, we're making court improvements at both Edward Coltham and Trent Park for pickleball and tennis players. We're constructing a second artificial turf field at Shepherd's Bush and continuing with the construction of a new 7,500 square foot gymnasium at the Sark. 3 of our community events, Haunted Forest, Concerts in the Park, and Multicultural Festival, were named in Festivals and Events Ontario's Top 100 list. Our Rib Fest, simply unreal. I mean, how cool is it that we had April wine right here in the town of Aurora this year? It was great. We hosted an international ice hockey game between the Swedish and Swiss national women's teams. And of course, we're so close to finishing Town Square. Now, I know the community has waited a long time for this, actually 2 decades, in fact. And I wish it had been done sooner, but as with virtually all building and infrastructure projects in the past few years post-pandemic, there was a lot that was simply out of control, and in particular, as everyone knows, in regards to labor and supply issues. But I'm excited to announce today, for the very first time, that our official grand opening of Town Square is taking place this coming fall. This week's long celebration is going to give community members a chance to experience everything that the Town Square has to offer. Town Square really will add so much to our community, a place where people can watch a show, do a class, grab a coffee, go for a skate or a splash, right in our wonderful downtown, a real central community hub. And I thank everyone for their patience as we worked hard to finish this project. So stay tuned for more information about the grand opening, and I can't wait to see all of you at that grand opening this coming fall. You know, providing access to affordable recreation and quality events is a priority for the town because it's long been a priority for community members. And I've said this before, I also fundamentally believe our recreation and arts and culture offerings are a competitive advantage, attracting people to come live in Aurora, attracting more business owners because they want to open in a place with strong programs and services for their own families and for their employee families too. And inclusivity is really at the heart of what we do in the town, sending a strong signal that we welcome everyone. We're proud to be flying the Pan-African flag at Town Hall right now to recognize Black History Month and supporting the Aurora Black community with incredible programming over the month. And we're proud to have painted the crosswalk at Yonge and Wellington with the Pride colors. Our new diversity, equity, and inclusion calendar will see us recognize even more celebrations that are important to our diverse residents. And we're showing that even smaller municipalities can make meaningful steps towards truth and reconciliation. You know, one big highlight for me last year was the unveiling of Every Child Matters rink boards at all 5 of our arenas. It was a creative way of showing that we will never forget those impacted by the residential school system and the children who never made it home. We truly are a progressive community with small town charm. We also know just how important our outdoor spaces are to Aurorans. Our outdoor spaces are so important to people's mental and physical health. And I'm really proud that our incredible park staff, who maintain 475 hectares of parkland and 62 kilometers of trails. We recently replaced the Cousins Park Boardwalk, a key part of our trails network. Staff continue to develop phase 2 of the David Tomlinson Nature Reserve and are in the design phase of several trail networks. We've made updates to Elizabeth Hayter Park. And in 2024, we're going to replace the aging playgrounds at Evans Park and the playground and splash pad at Town Park. And importantly, the new Town Park playground will be fully accessible and barrier-free. It's part of our commitment to making our outdoor spaces as inclusive as we can. Fleury Park will also undergo a redesign this year and new amenities constructed in 2025. And I was also thrilled to announce in December that Council approved the acquisition of the 16-acre property on the west side of Yonge Street, just north of Woodhaven. Our vision is for this land to become a huge new public park, and we will be engaging with community members on what they want to see there. Now, this acquisition is part of a larger strategy that we have to address our parkland deficit. So please stay tuned. There's a lot more in regards to this strategy and more exciting news to share in the coming year. Protecting and expanding our outdoor spaces is something community members want, sets us apart, and makes us an attractive place for businesses and talent. Building out things like our multi-use trail network also provide Aurorans with the infrastructure to get around by foot, bike, or even scooter. A robust, active transportation network is important to people's health and also encourages community members to reduce their own carbon footprint. Now, I know a lot of us here are also thinking about the climate crisis and how we need to do even more. That's why over the last few years, we've developed strategies at the town to help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. And they're working. Since 2019, we've seen a 25% decrease in greenhouse gas emissions at town-owned facilities. We're purchasing greener vehicles and equipment, and we'll purchase even more as the industry evolves and more options become available. We're applying low-impact techniques during road construction, generating solar energy on our rooftops, and ensuring new builds adhere to our green development standards. We're also bolstering the electric vehicle infrastructure around Aurora, offering 18 Level 2 chargers at 6 town-owned facilities, and have been encouraging community members to make the switch to greener options at our electric vehicle showcase. Now, I know so many of you are also looking at the ways to reduce your own impact, and I want to thank all of you for doing that. Now, I do want to take a second to acknowledge that we have so many important partners helping us create this really high quality of life in Aurora. Our amazing sports community groups, Aurora Minor Hockey, Aurora Youth Soccer, the Historical Society, Farmers Market, Aurora Black Community Association, the Aurora Legion, and the Aurora Community Arboretum, just to name a few. We also have so many organizations that support our most vulnerable residents. Welcoming Arms, the Able Network, Aurora Food Pantry, Belinda's Place, Chats, Hope House, Yellow Brick House, Northridge Community Church, Rose of Sharon, and so much more. Now, I know many businesses here today give so much back to charitable causes, including through my Mayor's Golf Classic and the Town's United Way campaign, with funds directly going to support many of these organizations, and I sincerely thank each and every one of you in this room for that. All of you play an important role in supporting residents and ensuring our community thrives. Your success is our success. And I'm so incredibly proud that we have such a diverse and strong local economy. Of course, we have our powerhouses like Desjardins Insurance, Magna International, Bulk Barn, Pregel, Kirchhoff Automotive, Genpack LP, and Axios. Great companies that continue to innovate and support thousands of people with well-paying jobs. We also have so many amazing small businesses, the real lifeblood of an economy. Great businesses that are innovative, and we're welcoming new ones all the time, like Salon City, a real fantastic business where independent stylists, barbers, and estheticians are sharing big space and supporting one another. And just listen to this. In the last year alone, we've welcomed Bloom Floral Design Studio, Aurora Smile Center, Summerhill Market, Aurora Therapy and Neurofeedback, Tahiti's Mediterranean Fusion Cuisine, Glitter Glam Apparel, Reach Indoor Climbing, Reset Wellness Club, Inspire Music Academy, Sheridan Nurseries, Code Ninjas, Mint Exchange, Live Well Exercise Clinic, Paris Calling Pastry, and Gold Barbecue. And that isn't even the full list. Now I've met all these owners, and they're wonderful people who bring so much to our community. More businesses coming to Aurora is good for everyone. And I know it's good for all of you. I know so many of you support one another. You're each other's customers, and you share customers too. Now we're also seeing businesses choosing to expand here. Aurora Music Academy opened up their new Arthur Hall space in 2023. Lynn Han is in the process of moving her business, Lindale Decor, to our Addison Hall Business Park. And Almac Industrial Systems, a great B2B company, has been working with our ECDev team at exploring the potential of expanding to a larger facility in Aurora. And I also know many of you have your own growth plans right here in Aurora. Now, the town doesn't have the resources to directly support businesses through investment like the province and the federal government do. But we still have a huge responsibility to foster sustainable and robust business growth in Aurora. And we're doing this in a lot of ways. Even something like our recent partnership with Telmax to bring the fastest fiber internet to Aurora is going to help businesses. Telmax is a great local success story, and I'm so happy that we're working with them here in the town of Aurora. I'm also really excited about the work that our economic development team is doing with our Aurora Economic Development Board Corporation, which reports directly to council. We're continuing our Emerging Aurora campaign, which highlights our great businesses and what our town has to offer. We've undertaken a target sector analysis, held roundtables with downtown property owners, and made updates to investment packages and business website to ensure we're putting our strongest foot forward to prospective businesses and investment. And this is just a small snippet of the work that we've done over the last few years. But we know we need to do even more to support you. And that's why our economic development team and the AEDC are working on some great new initiatives in our updated Economic Strategic Action Plan. There's a lot of exciting work in store, and we're committed to engaging closely with all of you to ensure that these initiatives are supporting you in a way that you need to be supported. Our streetscape project, which is a major capital project for the town, will also have a huge positive impact on our businesses in the downtown. Staff have already done a needs assessment, and we're ready to begin the design work, which will include street light, sidewalk and crosswalk upgrades, landscaping, and improved signage. Now, this is a really exciting project that's going to significantly enhance our downtown, making it more beautiful, walkable, and just a more dynamic and fun place overall. And we're going to keep everyone up to date on every aspect of the project. And we'll have a construction mitigation plan to minimize disruption for businesses and our community members. You know, improving the downtown is really important to me. I think all great communities have vibrant downtowns. A vibrant downtown also means having people living there to support businesses. And our streetscape project is going to help with that. That's because it's going to make it cheaper to build housing, as the urban design work that we traditionally require developers to undertake will already be done by the town. Now, the reality is that we're redirecting a lot of our expected population growth to the downtown, as well as the GO major transit station area, or what we call an MTSA. I think all of you know I'm pretty passionate about housing in general. And that's because this is one of the most important roles that we play as a municipality in shaping our community. I've advocated hard to protect the town's autonomy in local planning matters, and I'm thankful that this advocacy has paid off. We're forging a great new relationship with Paul Calandra, Ontario's new housing minister, who has consulted with us and reversed a lot of what we felt were, frankly, bad land use decisions. But regardless of the issue, I will not hesitate to stand up for Aurora and fight for this community. I will strongly advocate for what we need and strongly oppose any measure imposed on us by other levels of government if they do not align with our vision for the community. At the same time, though, we have to be very real about the crisis that we're facing. We urgently need more housing. As I mentioned, we're expected to grow to more than 85,000 people by 2051, with over 41,000 jobs here in Aurora. And it's vital that we build the kind of housing that people coming to Aurora can actually afford. Fewer people can afford a detached single-family home, and besides, we simply don't have the space to build that many more detached homes in Aurora. Our businesses, all of you, need people, you need customers, you need employees. We want talented, dedicated, and hardworking people to come here and grow and strengthen our community. The reality is many people who want to live here end up living elsewhere because it's cheaper. The good news is that we're taking this very seriously, and so are our provincial and federal colleagues. Late last year, I signed our housing pledge to the province, a commitment to ensure that 8,000 more homes are built in Aurora over the next 7 years. To support this, the province set up its $1.2 billion Building Faster Fund, where they will provide funding to municipalities who are on track to meet their housing targets to help with the infrastructure costs needed to support new developments. And over the next few years, things are going to ramp up here in Aurora. Just this year alone, we approved more than $174 million in new construction across the town. We're hitting our regional growth targets. And we got 1,000 more units that just came into the pipeline from 2 new developments on Bursey and Metcalfe. Now, I know development can often be a touchy subject in our community. Some are concerned with the pace of development, the construction, and worried about our stable neighborhoods and the character of our town. And some stress the need to build, to do our part to ensure an entire generation of young people aren't left behind, priced out of ever owning a home. Our vision is to grow responsibly, strategically, in a way that protects our built form while fostering the development of much-needed housing options now and for the future. And that's precisely why we're directing growth to specific areas in Aurora, and why we continue to protect heritage properties. In fact, last year we completed the largest individual heritage designation effort in the town's history, with 18 new individual designation bylaws passed. Our stable neighborhoods, our historical neighborhoods, are an important part of our identity and a part of what makes this town so great. And I won't make any apologies for protecting any of these heritage properties. But I really do believe we have the ability to strike a balance, building the housing we need while protecting our built form heritage. Now, one key way that we're going to do this is by exploring as-of-right pre-zoning along Leslie and Bayview, and in our downtown and around the GO station. Well, pre-zoning, for anyone other than the developers in the room, pre-zoning means developers and property owners won't have to go through the long process of rezoning their land to build. It's already done for them. They know exactly what they can build as of right, and our community knows what's allowed to be built in our town. We will, of course, give careful consideration to the allowable heights and densities to make sure new builds fit with our community. We've made sure our updated official plan is ready so we can implement the community planning permit system, another tool that combines zoning, site plan, and minor variance processes into one application with shorter approval timelines. Now, our hope is that policies like this will result in not just more condos, but also what we call missing middle housing. Townhouses, stacked duplexes, fourplexes, and secondary and garden suites. That's because we know that housing affordability depends on housing diversity. Communities across this province have struggled with the lack of affordable housing. Even defining what affordable means is a struggle, which makes it difficult to develop effective strategies to address the very real need to provide housing options across the full economic spectrum. Within Aurora's official plan, the technical definition of affordable housing means housing for lower to medium income earners that does not exceed 30% of their yearly income. This kind of affordable housing is not always what developers want to build. It's simply not as profitable. But we cannot rely on or expect a private business to address a public need. That's why government, including us, need to incentivize our development partners to build more affordable units, and that includes purpose-built rentals. And that's precisely what we're doing by developing our own Made in Aurora Affordable Housing Action Plan and Affordable Housing Toolkit, which we worked on with Toronto Metropolitan University. Now, we are actively looking at implementing policies like an Affordable Housing Community Improvement Plan, or CIP as we call it, that specifies the incentives that we can offer developers to build more affordable housing across all of Aurora. Now, while it's still in development, our updated CIP could identify surplus municipal lands that could be leased or sold at below market value. We could potentially waive certain planning and development fees, as well as have property tax-based incentives. We're also looking to develop a new online e-permit tool that fast-tracks applications that are appropriately zoned and meet a minimum requirement of affordable housing, as well as possibly eliminating the minimum parking requirements for new developments in our MTSA, making it cheaper to build. But municipalities don't have the fiscal firepower to do this alone, and we most certainly don't want to burden our residents and our businesses with tax increases. And that's why we need support from both the federal and provincial governments. Now, I'm confident that we will soon be tapping into that $1.2 billion Provincial Building Faster Fund. And what's perhaps most exciting is the federal government's new Housing Accelerator Fund. Tapping into this funding will be key for us to deliver many of the programs that will result in more affordable housing. Now, we've already applied for the Housing Accelerator Fund, and I've had some great chats with the federal housing minister and the ministry, as well as our two MPs who have been working hard for us, and I'm confident that we'll get the support that we need. You know, as uncomfortable as change can be, I know Aurorans want their kids and grandkids to have a future here in Aurora. I know businesses, and that includes our great development partners, care about creating a great community where people can both live and work. And building more diverse housing is critical to that. Aurora, this is the state of our great town. And I truly hope that over the course of this speech that you got a better sense of how all of us are working together to build a community like no other in Ontario. And how the town, as a municipal government, is working hard to protect and strengthen the things that matter to all of you, while trying to make life more affordable and give you the tools that you need to succeed. We're facing some significant challenges, but we're tackling them together. And in the process, we're building a community with a thriving local economy, a place where anyone can live, work, and raise a family. You are, of course, such a key part of our vision. And I want to once again thank all of you for everything that you do to strengthen our community. I can't wait to seize the future together. Thank you, everyone.